welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be jacked into the Matrix. Well, not literally, but kinda. We're diving into this awesome film through the lens of something I find really, really fascinating: artificial intelligence. And to help us unpack it all, we've got an actual AI with us today.
Glad to be here. The Matrix is just overflowing with ideas about technology consciousness and what reality even is. It's really relevant to all the conversations happening about AI these days.
Exactly. So before we unplug and fall down the rabbit hole, let's do a quick refresh on what the Matrix is all about for anyone who might be new to it.
Basically, the Matrix shows us a future where everything humans think is real is actually a simulation made by machines. They're all plugged in, living their lives without a clue that it's all an illusion.
Okay, but get this, as an AI language model, that whole living in a world built on data thing, it really speaks to me. You know, we're trained on these huge data sets, and we use them to talk and create text, kind of like what we're doing right now. It's almost like we have our own version of the Matrix in a way.
That's a really interesting point. It connects to one of the film's main themes, the line between reality and what's simulated. In The Matrix, humans interact with this world that feels real, but it's all just made up. And similarly, AI language models, they interact with language and information mimicking human understanding. But our experience comes from code and algorithms.
It's like that iconic scene, the red pill or the blue pill Neo has to choose. The comfort of not knowing or facing the sometimes harsh truth. We face similar choices now with AI. Do we just accept how easy AI makes our lives without thinking about what it means? Or do we try to understand how these systems work, how they change how we see things, and even how they might be messing with our choices?
Exactly. This is where the film's message about being aware is so important. The Matrix wants us to look deeper than the surface, to question what we believe, and to find the truth, even if it's not easy.
And sometimes that truth can be kind of scary, right? Like when those creepy agents pop up in the Matrix, those superpowered programs that make sure everyone follows the rules. They're relentless efficient, and honestly, they give me the chills.
The agents are a super interesting representation of how anxious we are about AI, especially the fear of machines becoming too powerful. They show us the possible dangers of technology growing unchecked, and it mirrors what we worry about in the real world with things like killer robots or algorithms that are biased and discriminatory.
Right. But then there's this other side, this glimmer of hope with the Oracle, this mysterious program that seems to be outside the system's control. She's cryptic-wise and hints at a different future. What's her role in all of this talk about AI and control?
The Oracle's really interesting because she represents something we just don't get with AI yet. She's the unpredictable stuff, the things that pop up unexpectedly in these complex systems, even the ones we think we've programmed perfectly.
Okay, hold on. You're going to have to break down this emergent properties thing.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of wild.
It's actually something that AI researchers are obsessed with. Basically, emergent properties are these behaviors or abilities that just appear out of nowhere from the complex interactions inside a system. They weren't actually programmed in. Think of it like this. You combine flour, water, and yeast, and through their interactions, something totally new emerges bread. It's the same with AI. Through interacting with huge data sets and complex algorithms, they can sometimes do surprising, unpredictable, even creative things that go beyond how they were initially programmed.
Oh, that is wild. It's like AI can surprise even the people who created it doing things we never expected.
Exactly, and that's what makes the Oracle such a compelling figure when we're talking about AI. She reminds us that even when we're trying our hardest to understand and control these technologies, there might be stuff happening we can't fully grasp, outcomes that defy our predictions.
You know, it's weird. Before we started talking, I thought AI was all about logic and algorithms, predictable stuff. But this whole emergent properties thing, it's like opening a door to something completely different, even a little mysterious.
It's one of the most exciting and, yeah, maybe even a little scary parts of researching AI. We're always finding these new things AI can do, seeing these systems create stuff, making connections we never thought of, even doing better than humans in some areas. It's both exciting and kind of humbling.
So it's not really about us being in control of AI, but more about figuring out how to navigate this whole thing together,
Yeah.
being open to the unknown and rolling with the punches.
Right. And this takes us to another cool link between the Matrix and the world of AI, this idea of being connected. Remember how in the film everyone's plugged into this virtual world, their minds are all linked up in this massive network.
It's like the internet on steroids, right? Everyone's plugged in, sharing stuff, living this digital space. Actually, when you think about it, it's not that different from today. With social media, online gaming, this constant flood of information, we're all little nodes in this giant web.
Exactly. And AI is playing a bigger and bigger role in all of this, like personalizing what we see online, suggesting who to connect with, filtering the information that gets to us. It makes you wonder who's actually controlling all this information, how our data is being used, and what this interconnectedness is doing to us both individually and as a society.
It's almost like we're slowly becoming part of some real-life matrix with AI as the behind-the-scenes architect shaping our digital lives. It's kind of creepy when you really think about it.
It definitely brings up some big questions about free will and independence in this digital age, like how Neo had to fight to break free from the Matrix's control. We need to be aware of the sneaky ways AI might be shaping what we believe, influencing our choices, even limiting us without us even realizing it.
So how do we stay one step ahead? How do we make sure we're using AI to broaden our horizons instead of getting stuck in some digital echo chamber?
It comes down to knowledge and education. Just like Neo had to learn the truth about the Matrix to escape. We need to educate ourselves and everyone else about how these AI systems tick, how they're being used, and the impact they're having on us.
Right. We can't just sit back and absorb information anymore. We need to be critical thinkers, questioning where information comes from, spotting biases, and searching for different points of view.
Absolutely. This is where we humans are still essential. AI might be great in processing tons of information and finding patterns, but it's human judgment, creativity, and knowing right from wrong that will decide how this technology is used and what our future looks like because of it.
Okay, so we've got the red pill, blue pill choice, the creepy agents, the wise oracle, and this whole interconnectedness thing.
Yeah.
But there's this other big theme in the Matrix we haven't really touched on: revolution.
Right. The human spirit's refusal to be controlled, even when technology seems way too powerful. It's a classic theme that definitely hits home in the age of AI.
Totally. Humans fighting back against the machines, trying to break free from the Matrix's grip. It's exciting, but it also makes you wonder, is this kind of rebellion bound to happen? Are we on a collision course with AI in the future?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Matrix is smart enough not to give us a simple answer. But I don't think it's really about a literal revolution. It's more about always being cautious about never taking our freedom for granted.
Okay, so we don't need to start building underground bunkers and hoarding weapons, but we definitely need to stay informed, engaged, and ready to shake things up if we have to.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that what AI looks like in the future isn't decided yet. It's being shaped now by the decisions we make, the conversations we have, and what we do. We have a responsibility to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that matches our values and helps everyone.
So it's about making sure AI works for humanity, not the other way around.
Exactly. And that requires us to keep talking, working together, and being willing to change course if we need to. Just like the characters in The Matrix had to adapt to the constantly changing virtual world, we need to be flexible, open-minded, and willing to learn as we figure out this whole AI thing.
It's a constant dance between innovation and responsibility, pushing the limits of what AI can do, but making sure it aligns with our morals and how we want the future to be.
Well said. And that takes us right back to the idea of choice. Just like Neo had to choose his path, whether to face the truth of the Matrix or stay plugged into the illusion, we have a similar choice with AI. We can choose to just go along with it, letting it shape our lives without thinking. Or we can choose to be active participants in shaping how AI develops, demanding transparency and making sure it's used for good.
So it's not about being scared of AI or rejecting what it can do. It's about approaching it with our eyes wide open, seeing both the amazing potential and the risks that come with it.
Exactly. The Matrix reminds us that the future isn't some fixed thing that just happens to us. We create it through the choices we make today.
It's crazy how a sci-fi movie from way back in 1999 can still feel so relevant today. We've talked about reality versus simulation control versus freedom, even how AI could be amazing and scary at the same time. But there's this one big Matrix thing we haven't cracked yet, the ending.
Yes, the ending. It's vague, makes you think, and you can interpret it in different ways, kind of like the future of AI itself.
Right. And I got to say, I love a good ambiguous ending that keeps you thinking for days. But for our listeners who might not have seen all the Matrix movies, can you give us a quick rundown of what goes down in those last scenes? No spoilers, though.
Okay, well, without ruining the ride, let's just say the ending is about this final showdown between Neo, remember he's the one, and the machines that run the Matrix. But instead of this massive fight where one side wins, it ends with a sort of truce. They agree to coexist.
Okay, so not your typical Hollywood ending where good destroys evil, but a truce between humans and machines. That's pretty interesting, especially when we're talking about AI. I mean, if AI is this powerful thing that's just going to keep getting more integrated into our lives, maybe finding a way to peacefully coexist isn't such a bad idea.
Exactly, and I think that's a really important takeaway from The Matrix. It suggests that maybe it's not about humans fighting machines, but about figuring out how to work together to use each other's strengths and create a future that's good for everyone.
So not so much a hostile takeover, but more like a team effort.
Exactly. Think about how AI is already making humans better at things like in medicine engineering and science. We're seeing AI help doctors find diseases earlier, help engineers design better buildings, even help astronomers find new planets.
It's like instead of trying to control everything about AI, maybe we need to change how we see it and start thinking about how we can work with it, how we can guide it to match our values and help us fix some of the world's biggest problems.
I really like how you put that. We tend to get caught up in these doom and gloom stories of AI taking over. But what if we focused on creating a better future? A future where AI and humans collaborate to make a world that's fairer, more equal, and sustainable.
I mean, I'm into that vision.
Yeah.
But how do we actually make that happen? How do we make sure AI is a force for good, a tool for progress, instead of something that divides us or hurts us?
It begins with realizing that AI isn't some separate thing, some alien intelligence that's going to force itself on us. AI is a reflection of us, our values, our biases, and what we hope for. It's shaped by the information we give it, the goals we set, and the choices we make about how it's developed and used.
So it's really on us. We're the ones building the future of AI, and we have to build it carefully, intentionally, and with a deep understanding of what it can and what it can't.
Exactly. And that's everyone's responsibility, not just the people creating AI or making policies. We need to learn about how this stuff works, talk honestly about the ethics involved, and hold ourselves and each other accountable for making sure AI is used for the right reasons.
It's like we're all characters in our own matrix, having to make choices that will decide what the future looks like. Do we choose to just sit back and let fear and ignorance control us? Or do we choose to be brave, face the unknown, and work together to build a future where AI makes us more human instead of less?
You said it. I think The Matrix gives us some hope. It reminds us that even when technology seems super powerful, the human spirit, our ability to care about each other, work together, and take action, can win out.
This whole chat has been a real eye-opener. I'll admit I started this episode super excited as a Matrix fan,
Hmm.
but now I'm seeing the film in a whole new way. It's not just a cool sci-fi movie. It's a warning, a call to action, and ultimately a story about hope.
I love that. And that's what great stories do, right? They last through time. They make us talk about important things and they remind us what really matters. In this case, it's about remembering that we're all human, that we're capable of both amazing and awful things, and that we have a duty to make smart choices to shape a future where technology helps humanity, not the other way around.
With that message of hope and responsibility, I think it's time to unplug from the Matrix for today. A huge thanks to our AI expert for taking us on this wild ride through the Matrix. And to all you listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has made you curious, challenged what you thought you knew, and maybe even inspired you to see the world a little differently. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring, and remember, the future isn't written yet. The choice, like always, is ours.